Good evening, everyone. And I'm Dr. Ganeshan, your host for the day. It's my greatest pleasure to welcome you all to our webinar on the future of clinical research. Clinical research is a vital component of medical advancement, transforming scientific discoveries into life saving treatments and therapies. Without clinical research, we can't dream of having the medicines from the lab table to our medical shops or surgery tables at all. As the healthcare industry continues to evolve and explode, the demand for skilled professionals in this field of clinical research is growing and offering exciting opportunities for those who are looking for a start or an advancement in their careers. Over the next 1 hour, we'll have a grand journey and we're going to explore how technology, innovation, and skill development are reshaping careers in clinical research and biotechnology. We are joined today by our esteemed panel of speakers, experts from academia, industry, and training, who will share their insights on the emerging trends, career pathways, and practical strategies for future readiness. So let's get into it. It's my privilege to introduce our speakers. Let's go with Dr. Snigdha Tiwari. Dr. Snigdha Tiwari is a highly accomplished senior research fellow from IIT Roorkee with over 5 years of experience in computational biology, bioinformatics, and telemedicine system designing. And she has made significant contributions at the intersection of basic and applied research, particularly in protein-protein and protein-ligand interactions, molecular docking, simulation studies, and healthcare clinical data management. One of the highlights of her work includes leading the development of Utsarjan app, a digital health platform designed for pediatric nephrotic syndrome data collection, clinical research in collaboration with AIMS Delhi. She's our very own academic support specialist in the Bio IT and Clinical Research Department at Biotecnika. Let us welcome her. And today, Dr. Snigdha will discuss global clinical trial trends, integration of AI, machine learning, and data science, as well as decentralized trials, precision medicine, and emerging therapeutic areas. Welcome, Dr. Snigdha.
Good
Next, we'll
evening,
be
ma'am. Good
introducing,
evening.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, yeah, please go ahead, ma'am. Yeah.
Dr. Yeah, very happy to have you, Dr. Snigdha. And meanwhile, let us take pleasure in introducing our other speakers, Ms. Kavitha. Ms. Kavitha is a dedicated clinical research professional with 2 years of hands-on experience in clinical research and clinical operations. With a strong foundation in GCP, good clinical practices, and regulatory requirements, Kavitha has supported the planning, coordination, and execution of clinical trials across various phases. As a clinical research trainer, she is very passionate about sharing her knowledge and supporting professional development of several aspirants like you today. With a keen eye for detail and commitment to quality and compliance, she aims to foster a learning environment and supports operational excellence at high standards in clinical trial conduct. Today, Ms. Kavitha will highlight the diverse career roles in clinical research sector, and she will also discuss the key skills in demand. And I would hope you can learn all as much as you can as she goes ahead with her presentation. Welcome, Kavitha.
Good evening,
Kavitha,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, speakers, and good evening, everyone.
It's a pleasure to have you here with us. Meanwhile, let us welcome our honored guest for today, Mr. Satyaprakash, and he is the Clinical Research Manager at Medtronic and Managing Director of Consortium Clinical Research Private Limited. And Mr. Satyaprakash is a clinical research professional with over 18 years of experience specializing in global and regional clinical studies related to medical devices and drugs. Currently, Mr. Satyaprakash serves as a clinical research manager at Medtronic, focusing on India and Southeast Asia market, with expertise in project, vendor and team management, compliance, and quality assurance. He has several accolades to his name with a never-ending list and with an extensive clinical research experience. Today, he will be guiding us on preparing for the future for all our dear clinical research aspirants and including insights on the emerging biotech opportunities lying vast in front of us. So, without further ado, let us start with the presentations for today. And meanwhile, please, all of you, do post your questions with anyone you want to particularly address to. and we'll make sure that all the questions are addressed. And for all the aspirants who stick right to the end, there will be a surprise gift link posted in the middle of the webinar. So do stay tuned. Let us welcome Dr. Snigdha, and over to you, ma'am, for your beautiful presentation. We are waiting.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Hi, guys. So today I'll be talking about the evolving landscape of clinical research, right? I mean, how the clinical research is actually evolving, with the big systems, big data, artificial intelligence, machine learning developments. Over the time, we are handling biotech sectors, the drug discovery sectors, the clinical research sectors with a lot of data, right? The complicated data that we say. What is the evolving landscape that we are carrying out, with clinical research today that we'll be talking about, right? What are the trends? What are the innovations, and also the future directions of the decentralized clinical trials? As in shortly as I talk about the landscape of clinical research today. So starting with the introduction, what is a clinical research? The basics, what is a clinical research, right? Today I'll be talking about what is a shift. The clinical research is shifting from the traditional site-centric model towards patient-centric, digital, and globalized approaches, right? I mean, from the traditional ones, right? I mean, the traditional site-centric models, it is growing more towards the globalization approaches. It is going towards the DCTs, the database management. It is because why the drivers are the technology, the global collaboration, the regulatory evolution, patient demand for, of course, for the accessibility, and innovation in therapeutics. So all these are the drivers of the innovation of clinical research. The technology is increasing. We have big data to analyze. We are coming in with the artificial intelligence, real world demonstrations, real world applications. Things are becoming patient centric. We've been talking about the personalized medicine. So these are the drivers for the shift in the clinical research today. Talking about the global trends in the clinical trials, right? I mean, what is a global trend in the clinical trials? So geographical expansion is taking place. Gone are the days when things were, especially research, was done in solitude and not interdisciplinary. But now geographical expansion has increased. Like trials are increasing, increasingly conducted in Asia, Africa, Latin America. So the middle income and the low income countries as well. Also talking about the global collaboration, there's this multi-country collaboration, multi-center designs. We are talking about the sample collections, the sample studies. If you're doing the rare disease, the clinical trials and the clinical research and the rare disease especially, so global collaborations are the way to go, so that the statistics are improved, the results are improved, and the multi-centric designs and a country, multi-country global collaboration will give it a global perspective. Also the results and statistics and everything, like the protocol designs, everything that is coming in, and will be increased, right? And the it will get, we'll get the multi-country perspective. So patient recruitments also, like increasing the diversity of the requirements. Patient increasingly, the diversity is increasing. So patient recruitments also, with that focus, global trends in clinical trials has shifted. So digital transformation, of course, using the electronic health records now, and electronic consent forms, real world data. There was a time things were made on the basis of the questionnaires, and Google forms and questionnaires were being distributed for the inclusion exclusion criteria and all that. But today electronic health records have come in, electronic consent forms have come in. We use databases, SQL, NoSQL databases. So global trends in clinical trial, as you can see in the graph, has really increased, and the trial protocols are inclining towards algorithmic data science, machine learning rules. So now talking about AI and ML, what are the role of AI and ML in data science? So what is actually the role of AI ML in our clinical research area? So the applications are drug target discoveries, of course, AI-driven biomarkers identification. So AI-driven biomarker identification is also one of the hotshot topics, because we are getting into the personalized medicines, right? I mean, mRNA-based medicines and all of that. Patient recruitment optimization have really increased, because predictive analytics from electronic health records can be done. The predictive prognosis, now the scientists can do with the help of algorithms. So trial design and simulations also, like, the simulation now, guys, the digital twins, adaptive designs, working with maybe the RCTs, placebo, everything is getting in with the digital twin systems for the simulation designs. Safety and monitoring, the real-time adverse events, the serious adverse event detection, the QA and QC, the proactive and reactive control forms, quality control forms, that is all coming in with the help of AI and ML, like the data science as we talk about. Also, what is the impact? Reducing timelines and cost, for sure. It is decreasing the cost. It is decreasing the timelines, because as you see, the clinical research is a much of the exhaustive process, right? I mean, phases, and then post-marketing surveillance, the preclinical trials, everything. So taking into account timelines and cost have been reduced significantly, and enabling the precision designs. That is also a big advantage using the AI and machine learning algorithms, the precision trials that we do. Coming into the decentralized and virtual trials. So now, as I talk about DCTs, that is decentralized clinical trials, right? I mean, doing it with DCTs, you can see even in the graph. I just took this graph from a research paper. It was just it's it's the result of DCT's market revenue. So you can see how it has really increased, and the prediction, of course, from like 2034, the prediction is that how much DCT is making out the revenue. So trials conducted remotely using the telemedicine, your wearable devices, your electronic constant forms, and home nursing. So everything comes into the DCTs. DCT, as the word says, guys, anywhere, any part of the world, sample sizes or the inclusion exclusion, people can sit and participate in the clinical trials, right? I mean, with the help of the mobile apps, or maybe the web apps or something, like anything, like the web platforms, right? So that is the decentralized clinical and the virtual trials that we're talking about. What are the benefits? Greater patient reach. Of course, the attrition will be less with the rural areas. With the older people, you can imagine how attrition rates, how dropout rates would affect our statistical power, and and that is the key value when you're doing when you're really doing it practically, like like designing the protocol and calculating your sample sizes, inclusion, exclusion, everything. Patient attrition is one of the key parameters to to hold on, right? So greater patient reach, of course, rural on the underserved areas, a higher retention and compliance. The DCTs will give you higher retention rates, higher compliance, real world data collection. Of course, we can the inter collaboration is happening, and data collection, everything can happen. Of course, that comes in with the challenges. Everything has pros and cons, so everything comes in with challenges. So the challenges in the DCTs that that people face, and as in the real world we face, is the data integrity. Of course, how to deal with the data. Patient data is highly it is a sensitive data, right? So it has to be encrypted, it has to be properly dealt with. The data management has to be very strong. Cyber security needs to be very strong, and regulatory acceptance also has to be at point. The regulatory acceptance is also amping itself. It's getting into the area of AI, ML, cloud computing. How to save your big data and everything. So your cloud computing, AI, ML, everything is is being now served with the help of for the DCTs, right? Talking about the personalized and precision medicine. So the personalized and precision medicine, if I talk about, then the focus of the personalized medicine will be tailoring the therapies to genetic, to proteomic, and the biomarker profiles. How the biomarkers are designed, what the genetics, what are the proteomics, and based on that, the precision medicines are coming in. The personalized medicines, as we talk about, AI and ML is actually doing a lot to the precision and the personalized medicine. With the help of the algorithms, the prognosis can be can be traced, and the times are less, the cost is less. The BAB studies, the bioequivalence and availability and everything is also coming in with the with with the collaboration of clinical research nowadays for in the field of DCT. So everything is merging in, and digital health integrations also, use of applications, use of different mobile apps, web-based apps, patient report outcomes, guys, and genomic driven interventions. So all these digital health integrations are also pushing our clinical research nowadays towards more of the into the ML and AI areas. The key example, the very recent ones, CAR T therapies. The CAR T therapies are coming into the oncology, the cancer research. So customized CAR T therapies are really customized for patients, based on the adaptive responses of the T cells and all of that, because the chimeric adaptive receptors, as we talk about. So how the receptors would work, and how AI and ML will drive that. Everything related to that is coming in. To talk about the emerging therapeutic in the field of the decentralized trials, and what the emerging therapeutic areas are. The oncology, first, talked about CAR T area, the CAR T therapies that is there. So immunotherapy, checkpoint inhibitors, the CAR T ones, these are the therapeutic areas that is exploding, as I say, with the data. So rare diseases also, it has really driven the rare diseases, more than 7,000 diseases, less than 10% with approved treatments. Of course, the approval and FDA and everything takes place, and about so much of the rare disease thing has gotten the push, because it's a rare disease. We get a less of a sample size, and then then inclusion exclusion, then with that the attrition also, like the attrition of the patient. So everything accounting, pushing the DCTs on the rare disease has really, really increased the efficiency, as I would say, increased the efficiency and output. So vaccines also, mRNA platforms expanding beyond COVID, like flu, RSVs, oncological vaccines. So the mRNA platforms are, has really expanded, beyond COVID. Of course, COVID has taken up very well. Of course, it is one of very good examples. So apart from that, mRNA platforms has really been expanded, right? Talking about the biologics, cell and gene therapies, so exponential growth pipelines we have seen in towards the cell, gene therapies, biologics, all of that, and all thanks to the the AI, ML, big data analysis. And when I talk about AI and ML, the algorithms, the efficiency, the algorithms, the integration of of all the technology is really has helped them, has helped each of the levels, like oncology, rare diseases, vaccines, therapies. So everything is emerging into the area. Talking about the regulatory harmonization. So as the DCTs are coming in, the regulatory harmonization is also dealing with it. It is coming up with the new updations in the ethics, in the in the checkpoints, in the checklist. The the international harmonization guidelines, the GCP guidelines, as we say. So efficiency 6 of R3, what the initiative deals with, it focuses on the risk-based approaches. Fine. So FDA, EMA, which is which works with Europe, which works with US, and then CDSCO works with India. All these regulatory harmonization has also been updated. So updated as in, it is more aligned on DCTs and the real world evidences and adaptive designs, guys, nowadays. There are different annexures that are being updated on the basis of, what data integrity should be, what data reliability should be. Data should be properly encrypted, it should be traceable, it should be informed consent should be, the electronic forms and everything, that is all being revised and updated with the FDA, EMA, CDSCO, WHO, ICH. Okay, the global push, that of course, these are the big players. I mean, of course, the regulatory body is the heart of clinical research. So global push is is there. So faster approvals are there. There's this update, which I was reading just recently. The rolling reviews have been increased. Rolling reviews, as as the scientists do the job, the reviews are also happening parallelly. So rolling reviews are, faster approvals are there, mutual recognition of data, collaborative review model. So everything is coming in, and it has really gotten it to a global push, the regulatory guidelines, research, or anything you talk about. Lastly, talking about the future outlook. So, AI plus digital health is intelligence in the adaptive trials, real world monitoring, your predictive analysis, like analytics, the adaptive design, make trials faster and more efficient. Platform, basket, and umbrella studies are pushed in. They're efficient now, like more efficient now, of course. Then master protocols allow testing multiple drugs or diseases that speeds up the development. Patient empowerment, clinical research always strive to patient empowerment, beneficence, and everything. Digital tools, your e-consent that is given to the patient are have the stronger rules and stronger role in trial participation, of course, because less of the attrition will happen. Ethical and data governance are sticking to the DCTs, then privacy, cybersecurity, because a lot of data, so a lot of data comes in cybersecurity, and equity remains the key challenges in global and data-driven trials. Of course, that it comes with the challenges, like because a lot of data, so data-driven challenges, then the privacy issues, cybersecurity, everything is taken. Everything needs to be taken care of, and the FDA, EMA, CDSCO is amping itself and updating itself based on the DCTs that is coming in. So key takeaways, is clinical research is evolving rapidly. The drivers are the technology, the patient centricity, global reach, and our new therapeutics that is coming in. The future is faster, smarter, and more inclusive and precision driven. So with that, I thank you so much for all the attention. I'll just pass it over to Dr. Ganeshan.
Thank you so much, Dr. Snigdha. That was such an eye-opening presentation. And you've given, wow, a great paradigm shift for people who have been seeing clinical research through different eyes. And you've given them a great eye-opening presentations. And with this, I hope that was not the last but least. And we are welcoming Ms. Kavitha to go on with her presentation. Kavitha, ma'am, over to you now.
So, hi everyone. I'll
Welcome, Ms.
quickly
Kavitha.
share my screen.
Sure.
So,
Meanwhile, all the audience who are having a view of this lovely presentation, keep your questions coming. We'll deal with them one by one. Thank you so much. Yes, Ms.
okay,
Kavitha.
hi everyone. And Dr. Snigdha, that was such an uh, absolute insightful presentation. So many of you are now confused how to get into career pathways, what kind of skills that I require for getting into this industry, what kind of roles I could apply, how can I implement science into this kind of technology. So I'm absolutely thrilled to be here today to talk about one of the most exciting, dynamic, and fast growing sectors in the world of clinical research, biotechnology, and pharma. Before we dive in, have you ever wondered how a tablet you take for a simple headache or a vaccine that saves millions of lives actually comes into existence? So, here is the answer. Behind every single medicine, there is a team of scientists, there is a team of researchers, there is a team of data managers, clinical researchers, regulatory experts working tirelessly for years. And a pharma company is literally working tirelessly and spending so much of amounts, so much of money, so much of manpower into this industry. And guess what? Many of you sitting here today could be a part of that very journey shaping the future of healthcare. With that note, I will move into today's session, and career pathways in biotech and pharma. So let me show you what kind of opportunities that you will be having, what kind of skills that you need to be developing, and what are the current industry trends that every pharma and CRO and CMOs are looking for. So myself, Kavitha Murugesan, let me quickly go to today's class. Introduction. So clinical research is basically the scientific study of new drugs, medical devices, treatment in humans to ensure they are safe and effective. So, it is basically the bridge between laboratory discoveries and the patient's bedside. From vaccines to cancer drugs, every medical breakthrough passes through the clinical research pathway. It's not just about doctors or scientists. This field always welcomes biotech, pharmacy, nursing, life science, etc. So, regardless whatever your course, the students from life science background or pharmacy background or biotech background can directly apply to clinical research roles with high global demand, and it also offers a diverse career opportunities for scientific graduates and professionals. So the aim is to guide the students, professionals, and career pathways, qualifications, roles, and industries. So what kind of qualifications do you actually require? So, for entry level roles in clinical research or in pharma industries, you should be having a BSc background from any life science, or BTech in biotech, or BTech in food tech, or BTech in any of the life science course. Then we form nursing, life science graduates like BSc biology, BSc microbiology, BSc biochemistry, BSc zoology. So any person from any life science background can apply for all the entry level roles. And for specialist roles like a bit senior level roles, or a data analyst, or a bit associate level roles, a postgraduate is always needed, or a certain amount of experience is needed, like MSc microbiology, MSc biology, MSc zoology, MTech in microbiology, biotechnology, MPharm, then paramedical courses, then biotechnology. Clinical research would be the most preferable course, and the most interesting course for the most apt course for choosing this kind of career. Then biostatistics, it's another interesting and most evolving course for all the clinical research professionals, because biostatisticians play a vital role in clinical research analysis and results. Then advanced research and leadership level roles will always require for MD, PharmD, PhD, or any doctor level roles, and experience of around 5 to 10 years. Then what kind of certifications that you actually require? For clinical research roles, you will be requiring a ICH GCP certification. It is very mandatory for each and every person who is involved in clinical trials, or who is directly going to work or deal with the patients, should always be knowing this ICH and GCP certifications. This ICH and GCP certifications you can pursue in gcp.meta.organization. So you can Google it and you can complete this GCP certification course whenever you're free. Then clinical data management, it is always essential, as Snigdha ma'am told, in this fast evolving AI and ML technology world. You should always be having a basic or a advanced level knowledge in clinical data management. And pharmacovigilance, as every one of you knows, clinical trial are basically conducted in phases. So the phase 1 to phase 3 will always be done in a set of patients, where the drug will not be launched before. Initially, the trial will be conducted in patients, but phase 4, that is pharmacovigilance, will always be done once the drug is launched into the market. So you should always be knowing what is a pharmacovigilance, and what is a phase 4 clinical trial, and what is post-marketing surveillance. So this is again a highly evolving field. So then regulatory affairs and medical writing. Uh, if someone is interested in regulatory affairs and medical writing, so that the pharma companies will prefer them for writing documents, and moving on with EC submissions and all the regulatory affairs. Then bioinformatics, biostatisticians, so tools like R, SAS, Python will always be helpful. Then moving on to steps in clinical research and pharma. So, what kind of roles you can think of when you pursue clinical research course, or when you pursue your career into clinical research field? So, the most interesting and the backbone of any clinical trial would be the clinical research associate. So, if I always believe, if a CRA is working properly, the entire clinical trial will be it will always be done at a very qualitative manner. So the clinical research, who is a clinical research associate then? A clinical research associate is the one who will monitor all the clinical trial operational activities at site level and will report to the sponsor. So a sponsor means, in clinical research terms, a sponsor will always be a pharma company and CROs will be there. So, and the sites means a hospital. Okay, so a CRA will be going to all the hospital sites and they will be monitoring whether all the clinical trials are in accordance with GCP compliance and it's adhere to all the protocol and the essential documents involved in the clinical trial. And they will be reporting to the pharma companies and they will be reporting to the sponsor companies. So the average salary of a clinical research associate in India will range from 4 to 8 lakhs per annum, and globally it's $60,000 to $90,000. Then looking into the clinical data manager, so you can as a entry level associate or a entry level analyst, you can look for clinical data coordinator, clinical data analyst, or data coordinators in clinical trials. So pharma companies will be posting jobs like clinical data analyst, data scientist, or data associate, or clinical data associate, like that. So these are the hook words for a clinical data managing team, and the person who will be managing the entire clinical data related activities will be considered as clinical data manager. So clinical data manager is the one who designs and manages the entire EDC system. EDC means it completely depends on the entire clinical data activities and ensures the data collected from the clinical trial and the data given by the data coordinators, data persons and data analysts are accurate and highly integrated data have been used in clinical trials. So for a manager level roles, you will be expecting for a salary around $70,000 to $100,000, and for data analyst or data coordinator level roles, you can expect a salary around 5 to 10 lakhs per annum. Then pharmacovigilance. So as I told you, it's not about clinical research associate and clinical data management. Always the phase for clinical trial is pharmacovigilance or post-marketing surveillance. So many of the pharma companies will be posting jobs like pharmacovigilance associate, safety surveillance associate, drug safety associate. So these are your hook words. You can search in LinkedIn's or Indeed or Naukri or any other job portals, or you can directly get into the pharma company's own website and you can check for pharmacovigilance roles. Who will be the pharmacovigilance specialist in a clinical trial? What they will be doing? They will be detecting, they will be assessing, they will be reporting all the adverse drug reactions once the drug is already launched into the market by the pharma company. Let's take an example. If Sanofi is launching a medication for cancer treatment and the drug has already been released in the market, then the doctors will be prescribing it to patients, right, for cancer treatment. So once the doctors start prescribing, the doctors will be reporting that this drug has been given to certain number of patients and along with their data. So what this pharmacovigilance officers will be doing is they will be assessing the patient's conditions. They will be maintaining reports of adverse drug reactions happen particularly because of that particular cancer drug. So that is considered as pharmacovigilance or post-marketing surveillance activity in clinical trial. So an average salary of a pharmacovigilance specialist would range from 3 to 6 lakh per annum, and globally we can expect around $55,000 to $80,000. Let's say in US, countries like Dubai and countries like Middle Eastern countries will offer a high amount for pharmacovigilance and data management activities. Then regulatory affairs specialist. So far we have talked about the clinical trial operations, clinical data managing actions, and pharmacovigilance activities. But who will be the regulatory affairs specialist here? What kind of activities that they will be performing? So regulatory affairs, regulatory boards. What is the primary role of the regulatory boards? they will be managing the entire clinical trial is done in accordance with the protocol adherence, and is all the ethical and regulatory standards have been maintained in a clinical trial, whether the pharma company conducted the clinical trial with utmost ethical and qualitative manner, the patient safety. So they will be looking for all the aspects of the clinical trial. They will be, so what these are the activities performed by the regulatory boards. What this regulatory affairs specialist will be doing here, this specialist will be supporting the pharma company. They will be representing from either a regulatory board, or a pharma company will hire a regulatory affairs specialist. So what this person will be doing means, they will be knowing all these guidelines. FDA, that is Food and Drug Administration, EMA. So FDA is for USA and EMA is for European Medical Agency, DCGI is for India. So they will be knowing all these guidelines, how what kind of guidelines are proposed to conduct a clinical trial in the particular country. Let's say US is conducting a particular clinical trial, then FDA will be releasing certain guidelines. So this regulatory affairs specialist should always be aware of all the FDA guidelines required for the clinical trial, and they will be preparing submissions, like submitting to the FDA and getting approval from the FDA, and checking whether any conditional approval has been there, any corrections has to be done, any kind of issues raised in the clinical trial, then who will be sending the notification to the regulatory person. So all these kind of activities will be maintained and managed by the regulatory affairs specialist, who will be representing the sponsor from the FDA side. So average salary will be around 5 to 12 lakh per annum, and globally 65,000 to $95,000. Then non-traditional career roles. So all these falls under core traditional roles in clinical research. Apart from the core roles, what kind of non-traditional career roles we can expect? Medical writer, the first most important. And if someone who is very much interested in doing a work from home or a remote work, then medical writer would be the right role for them. So who is a medical writer, what kind of roles that they will be performing here. So a pharma company, let's say a sponsor like Sanofi or a Pfizer, will be hiring a medical writer. This medical writer is very important, and they will be responsible for preparing all the regulatory documents, clinical trial documents, and scientific documents. Let's say if we are going to perform a clinical trial, we will be requiring a protocol, SOP, informed consent form, investigator brochure. So the sponsor will be giving all the adequate scientific information to this writer, and this writer will be responsible for preparing all the essential documents. Then moving on to biostatistician. So average salary for a medical writer, you can expect around 3 lakh per annum. And for biostatistician, who is a biostatistician here? So a sponsor is going to conduct a clinical trial here. But how do the sponsor know the trial is done with a proper manner, and the data that we obtain from a clinical trial is matched and it is effective, the drug is effective to the patients? So we will be getting data from the data management team. And once we get the data, this biostatistician will apply the statistic to clinical trial design and analyze whether the drug is effective to the patients or not. So the average salary for biostatistician would be 5 to 7 lakh per annum in India. Then bioinformatic analysis is the one who will be working on genomic and proteomic data analysis and drug discovery. And medical science liaison would be acting as a scientific bridge between pharma and healthcare professionals. So these are certain non-traditional career roles that you can see in clinical research field. Then CROs and CMOs, outsourcing opportunities. So do you really think that you will be working only in a pharma companies like Sanofi, Pfizer, Novo Nordisk, Eli Lilly? No, right? So there will be certain CROs and CMOs. Who will be CROs? Contract research organization. And who is CMOs? Contract manufacturing organization. So a pharma company is going to design and develop a drug here. and it will be tested in patients using clinical trials. So this CMOs will be helping manufacturing related services. This CMOs will be providing manufacturing related activities like focusing on large scale drug manufacturing, getting the formula from the original company. And CROs, contract research organization, they will be providing all clinical trial related services, data management related services, pharmacovigilance regulatory services. So certain notable CROs would include IQVIA, Paraxel, Covance, Icon, and CMOs like Lonza, Dr. Reddy's Laboratories. So the reason why we are checking for CROs and CMOs, like how pharma companies will be posting jobs, CROs and CMOs will likewise post the same jobs. They will also giving you the equal opportunities in clinical trial operations, data management, pharmacovigilance, regulatory activities, drug manufacturing roles. So you can apply for CROs and CMOs. You can just go to Google and you can just Google all the available CROs, and you can just Google all the available CMOs, and you can directly go to their websites and check for their career page, and you can apply for the roles. Then skills in demand. What kind of skills do you actually require for clinical trials? Like GCP is the first and foremost important certification course when you are going to work in clinical trials. So this you can find in gcp.nida organization. So then regulatory knowledge, as I always told you, you should always be having enough knowledge about the FDA, EMA, DCGI guidelines, as US, Europe, and DCGI guidelines. Like you will be mainly focusing on these two guidelines, and when performing trial in India, you should always be aware of this DCGI. Then electronic data capture. So when you are interested to work in data related roles, data analyst, data manager, data coordinator, then you should be knowing tools like EDC tools like Medidata, Oracle Clinical, Rave, and all. Then technical skills would include SAS, R, Python. So for biostatistics and bioinformatics, you should be knowing all these technical tools. And it applies to all the jobs. Whenever you're looking for any jobs, you should be having this basic soft skills like communication, teamwork, and analytical thinking. Like when you are given a tough situation, you should be thinking, and you should be answering like that. Then certifications would include, you can find out GCP certifications, you could find out pharmacovigilance certifications, CDM certification, and regulatory affairs, as well as you can look for very good clinical research certifications in online, so that you can easily get into this field. Then salary trends, as I already told you, for entry to mid level and senior level. So for a CRA, it's 4 to 8 lakh, and mid level they will be asking around 12 to 18 lakhs, and for a senior level roles they will be providing 20 lakh per annum. For data manager, 5 to 10 lakh. For data analyst, and when you are promoted to data associate or senior data analyst, you could expect around 12 to 15 lakhs, and for manager level roles you can expect around 20 lakh per annum. And PV, 3 to 6 to 10 lakh per annum to 15 lakh per annum. Then regulatory affairs, like you can work in DCGI, you can work in WHO, you can work in www.clinicaltrials.gov, so you can work in any of the clinical trials. So these
Ms. Kavitha?
yes, ma'am.
Ms. Kavitha, though I really hate to interrupt you, but we're running out of time and we still have our guest speaker to share his wonderful insights. So, if it's not too much of a rush, could you just summarize it for all our aspirants, because they are bursting with expectations and we can't go really very long on this? I'm really sorry to
Okay, ma'am.
interrupt.
That's fine. So you can
Thank you so
expect,
much for your time.
so as an entry level, you can start from 4 to 8 lakh, and for a senior level, you can expect around 20 lakh per annum. This is the Indian salary trends. And industry trends, as Snigdha ma'am told, AI and big data analytics, decentralized trials, and retroactive harmonization. So all these kind of new industrial trends have been emerging in clinical trials field. Then the key takeaways, I would suggest you wide career pathways for life science and pharma graduates and biotech graduates. So you can apply for both traditional and non-traditional roles. Then the skills that I've shown you are very important. So skills, certifications, and continuous learning will help you to get into a right career. Then always search your job search in CROs, CMOs, and pharma companies. And salary is always linked to your specialization and global exposure. So I would like to thank with a note like biotech and pharma are not just careers, they are opportunities to impact global health and make people lives better. So all the best for everyone who are looking for careers in this kind of fields. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kavitha. And Kavitha ma'am, that was a great presentation, except that we were really running out of time and we have still wonderful insights to be shared by Mr. Satya Prakash, our honorable guest here, and he's going to prepare you for the future. Over to you, Satya Prakash, sir.
Let me share my screen. Hope you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay, thanks for a brief presentation done by Dr. Snigdha and Kavitha. That's really very much insightful. So what I will be doing is they have really made my job easy. I will be mainly, kind of showing how industry looks different perspective. And when you prepare yourself in clinical research from industry point of view, what are the certain things you can prepare for? So mainly in this, kind of next 10 to 15 minutes, I will be covering is why biotech is on a kind of emerging and what are the certifications required from a global acceptance point of view and how you can make your profile more stronger and how can do active learning, then how networking will help you and how you are kind of, adapt yourself by making yourself more agile. So if I look into the biotech as one of the options, because when it comes into the clinical research, there are many options. Uh, Biotech is why. I mean, why it's kind of booming, because when industry look into the trend, they look into two things. One is an affordable solution. Second, what kind of solution really treat patients. So when these two things made into a combination, then it is always in a kind of boom. Why kind of India? We all know like it's there is a diverse patient pool. When we look into a data point of view which is needed from an industry, like okay, or kind of people have different lifestyles. So in India we have all sort of kind of varieties we can find from east, west, north, south. There are different lifestyles. Sometimes the disease burden at one particular kind of state is different from different state because of their culture, food habit, and all. And also the cost effective part, because our cost is kind of, you can say like 10 or kind of more less than compared to any kind of developed countries. And we are skilled as well, so our average experience, average kind of degrees are really kind of high compared to any kind of foreign countries. And then government is also very supportive, because Make in India and other programs where government is kind of clearly at their ask, like whosoever is coming, come up what the solution you are bringing. Because I am also considering Medtronic as a market leader in medical device. We keep on uh, going to the policy makers for many of our therapies, and their ask is very simple. If you are coming up with a costly device or costly solution, then what is the rationale? If you are coming up with a really kind of good solution for the country, then what is then the rationale? So that's why as I said, when the prevalence of the disease and a technology which can really treat, both are combined and a company can cater, that's a boom. And once one company start with something, example is COVID, other 5 companies start doing the same. And I will not, kind of talk more about mRNA or biosimilar or immunotherapy. That was well explained by Dr. Snigdha. But from an industry point of view, I would say in this slide that we have been a good strength, and also government is very supportive, and biotechnology can cater and provide those solutions, by meeting certain, kind of unmet needs that is needed for India. My second slide is mainly, why certification is needed. I think Kavitha has well explained different career perspectives, and also the need of minimum, like kind of getting certified of GCP. And there are also many institutions these days of mushroom to provide clinical research. But I think she had already mentioned what the minimum qualification is needed. So you don't need to really go for a kind of full-time course and all. But certification, when it comes into a global accreditation point of view, so ACRP, Society of Clinical Research Associate, DIEA, they are really kind of globally acceptable. ACRP, I am personally CCRA certified. When I actually appeared for this exam, after having, I think, 5 or 6 years of experiences, the questions are very practical. So here, what is the need then? Like, when you go for a GCP, you can simply like kind of go through ICH E6 and certain other ICH. ICH is your kind of good clinical practice, kind of guideline. Uh, you can go through it and complete your GCP certification. But when it comes into this accredited certification, you really need to have some kind of practical experiences, because they will ask you certain cases, how you kind of deal and what should be your answer. It's not straightforward coming from the book. It should be a guideline, a link to how industry practice it. Then your answer will be kind of come. So this is what the ACRPs, and they provide certifications in a different categories, like ACRP clinical research professionals, CRA. And one thing I would also focus, never forget about the job of a clinical research coordinator. Because the main kind of data what comes and then feed into the system, it comes from the hospitals, because sponsor cannot do any kind of clinical study or test on a human under clinical study at their offices. We always go into a hospital and then do the clinical study. So in the hospital, who actually supports and then coordinate for getting this data fed into any electronic system or any database, they are the clinical research coordinator. And for me, they are actually the successor for any good clinical study outcome. And in India currently, I mean, as I have been working since 18 years in the industry, that's an area where we need a very good infrastructure compared to other geographies. When I go to Korea or Southeast Asia, like Singapore and all, their hospital infrastructure is very good. The coordinators are very systematic. But here in India, our attrition rate in coordinators are very high. And also because of bit low salary here, people did not sustain much. But nowadays, what I am seeing different hospitals, the pay grade has also increased, and people has already started sustaining their career as a clinical research coordinator as well. But that's one of the key. And when also you think about a certification, CCRC also has another kind of certification which is globally kind of accepted, and also it is coming under the ACRP platform. Other thing is other certification for like medical device professionals and also project management professionals as well. SOCRA, again, Society of Clinical Research, they also they are not much old like ACRP, but their certification is also kind of worldwide accepted. And these are the links. You can see the basically the Nuremberg Code, Belmont, and Declaration of Helsinki, based on all ethical principles. Other are FDA guidelines, then ICH. So that is how the whole combination is there. And this is for all. When you prepare for ACRP or you prepare for ICH GCP, mostly you will be kind of learning these things. But importantly is when you simply, as Kavitha mentioned, like go for a GCP exam, you can simply go for the ICH GCP guideline and clear that. But when you appear for SOCRA or ACRP, you really need to have some industry experience to clear that. I think that's why they have a minimum eligibility of minimum 3 years or some experience with certain hours of monitoring experience as well. So I have already put the website link for details you can go through. Second is, DIA. DIA mainly, kind of famous for their networking. So courses are there. So they also provide some online courses and all. But every year, they usually conduct their conferences. I think today and tomorrow they have a conference at Delhi. So that's mainly focused on medical device this time. Usually in those conferences, it's a paid one, and it's open for everybody, for industry people, students and all. I would urge, like, if you can afford, it's around 15,000 or 10,000 students. I think it's less. For industries, they put bit higher kind of amount. You can try to, kind of attend. These are really good conferences where you can network, see a diverse perspective, like who is doing what in terms of industries, and also how people are looking the changes at the initial what Dr. Snigdha presented, like what are the changes are going on from artificial intelligence and different trends, practically how that is being implemented, and what are the works going on in terms of industry. Those things you can kind of see from those conferences, and always networking is the key for any success. So how to build a strong research publication and resume. So you can see whatever I put, it's very kind of general. I will not go in details, but what I would urge, when it comes into your research publication, whatever you work on, because many people work under me and then join an organization. When they join, put like, we have so many publications, we have so many expertise, we did this, that. But when I simply give them a task of prepare a prepare an find out an objective under a broad topic, and then given a one pager thing, that is something even they can not fulfill. So my only kind of message here is, in terms of your strong publication, whatever area you will work, find out a good mentor who can actually guide. Second is, whatever you will do, don't copy paste. Nowadays chat gpt and all really made most of our work easy, but try to be your own ideas implemented, and try to learn and learn, and try to go into the depth of why you are doing, what all things are needed, how to cite a kind of a publication, how to really make a good writing skill, go through literatures already published in kind of high journals like Lancet and all, how they're writing. Because you see there are good journals, they start with very simple words regarding the disease burden, what they have done as a method. So that's the real kind of wording, and how they made a kind of brief background. But here most of the Indian papers, they simply copy paste, and many times it did not come out well. Try to, my message is, whatever area you will be working for in a strong publication, try to find a good mentor who can guide. Try to see what is really unique to have your research begin, and then see where it can have a good publicity, and then publish. Maybe you can start working with a mentor, whatever he is doing, and try to learn, and then start your work. And then right side is what I put, like how to make resume. Resume is something don't there are, if you look into there is no thumb rule, like if you go and get instruction, many areas they're suggesting, if you are fresher, try to highlight as much as possible. When somebody is experienced, try to be a one pager or two pager. But I would say, like start with something what you have accomplished, what is your kind of strength, and try to maximum make one pager. Because if you are applying your CV for an industry, they don't have really time, because for one job kind of hundreds of CV comes, if you are really kind of applying for a kind of good company. So they just see a person, their ability, and you may kind of need to alter or modify your resume where you are applying. Don't simply make a CV and then apply for all. See, if you're applying for a job, how your profile is really aligned with that job profile. Try to kind of alter that, show some of your strength. The first two paragraphs really should talk 80% of what you want to showcase. Other things, education, your mark sheet and all, hardly anybody looks into, because in industry, the what matters is how expertise you are bringing, how much expertise you are bringing, what are you capable of, and what your strength is. In just kind of 1, 2, 3 seconds, they will judge. So I'm going to the next slide. Leveraging intensive workshops, that is really important, because when I started my career also, there is also in India, Indian Society of Clinical Research. They usually try to kind of see in LinkedIn and in Google, they usually also do frequent workshops at different places. uh, why it is important, they actually start a whole 1 day or 2 day workshop, and then kind of take you through the clinical research. The most importantly that you can do from anywhere, they usually collect some practical, you can say, queries, like suppose a informed consent narration. They collect it from some of the hospitals and then mask it, obviously, and then kind of put you in a kind of a brainstorming, like, so where the error is, how you elaborate those errors. That's really good in the initial, when you are kind of starting off your career. Try to kind of see what all the interactive workshops you can kind of attend, and then once you develop some practical skills, how you can kind of see it is linked to the kind of theory and practical, how it is kind of can be implemented. Then networking and LinkedIn branding. Again, here I would kind of say, so many people reach out to me, but one thing I would say, when you have your LinkedIn profile or social profile, always try to highlight something. Suppose you have a good network of 400 people or 200 people, having industry persons, colleagues, kind of students. Then try to always bring some new topic, what is going on, and try to post it. So sometimes when somebody opens the LinkedIn, a new post sometimes automatically appeared if they are in your network. That first attracts, like, who was posted. And second is, whenever you are approaching, don't simply like say that do you have any job, can you kind of take me in. Then there may be no answer. Try to see what is actually posted in their website. Maybe you can come up with that link or JD. Say that why you are eligible. Maybe another thing is that you can ask, is there any person directly you can reach out by copy CC to the person you are reaching into. So those 2, 3 things you always look into when you kind of doing a networking or managing your LinkedIn profile by reaching out to somebody in a senior level in any organization. Last is future ready mindset. This is important. I think Dr. Snigdha well explained in the beginning what the new things are coming. I'm just giving one example. This is my last slide. I'll not take much time. When I started my career, it was all paper CRF. And paper CRF means you may be students, you don't know about CRF. CRF is something when we do a clinical study, the data is fed or entered at a hospital in a platform. Earlier, it used to be a paper, simple paper with some boxes, what we wanted. And then after doing this in 3, 4, 5 years, then EDC came, right? EDC is electronically the hospital enter the data, which will be more live. Like I can see, hospital can see remotely, anybody can see just by putting in a login. But in EDC also, a lot of new things are coming. New platforms are coming through artificial intelligence. New features are coming. When I see the new features, sometimes I see like why companies are making it so much of complicated. But those things are really needed. It's not really complicated. It's about how quickly you adopt those things, and it will really make your life easy. So that's why that there are changes in the way, like we work. In every 2, 3 years, you may see more changes, because technology is also evolving like anything. In 1 or 2 years, people are bringing some new technologies. Try to adapt yourself as quick as possible, and most importantly, make yourselves up to date. What's going on, what kind of skills you need to adopt, how you navigate through those changes. Is there anything you need to learn? Because in industry, after also 18 years or 20 years of experiences, we are trying to get into all those things, trying to learn more and more. And also company point of view, they also bringing a lot of training for us. Okay, this thing has started, we are also implementing for training, so for you. That's why what's going on. Company is trying, okay, there is a change, and they want all their kind of 80 or 90,000 employees to be kind of trained and updated in that particular aspect. So those things you should kind of keep in mind. And yeah, so that's all from kind of my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Satyaprakash. That was a wonderful presentation, and we are really upset that it really had to get over. But like all the other good things that always have to come to an end, it was really nice presentation, and all the three speakers gave a very powerful insight to what the future holds for the clinical research aspirants. Now, let us just do a couple of questions from our audience, since most of your presentation has answered all the questions. I would request Dr. Snigdha to take up this question, since you've already asked one question, answered up one question about how to apply AI and data science and biotechnology. There is a question regarding how to enter this field and how to get a start to working in this country, in this industry. Over to you, Dr. Snigdha.
Hi, Aili. So how to enter the field? Okay. As Sir told about, adapt things ASAP. That is very important for, first you need to know your niche, what you are interested in. Then, understand the field. You need to know about the biological domains, understanding like how gene pipelines, bioinformatic pipelines work, data analysis, then machine learning, also like, the basic algorithms of the machine learning, bioinformatics databases. All these things are actually coming in, with the industry standards. So you need to first know your niche, like, decide what you're interested in, and then adapt everything, like adapt all the, like, biological profiles, then data analysis, collection, machine learning algorithms. Then, skill pathways are also important. Strengthen your basics first. That is very important. And then, once you do all those things, you can start building your resume, you start building your connections, go out for the internships, like, the basic internships, research assistant roles, maybe, the basic ones. You can reach out to LinkedIn, as Sir suggested, how to build your resume, how to adapt everything, how to make the pipe, like, how to make your resume look good, like, right. So, and say your resume should be right, working with the domains or the niche that you want to get in. And then, maybe you can collaborate on different research projects, maybe contribute to the open data sets. Also go and contribute to the open data sets, like Kaggle competitions. Sir also suggested to listen all the webinars, all the conferences, like, to start up. That is one of the point. And then, of course, I mean, there are research labs, there are startups, you can transition with your project assistants or something. So I hope that answered your question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Snigdha. And to add to that, I would also like to mention that Biotecnika is coming up with a range of courses for all the industrial aspirants. So we are going to start our new batch for clinical research on October 24th, and we are fast enrolling. And I suppose all our viewers watching this webinar would like to take a hands-on training. It comprises of all the mentorship and leading them with experts. So I would request all of you there watching us, and there is a link right in the StreamYard, so you should always, make yourself future ready with this one. And for Ms. Kavitha, I have just one question for you, because your presentation more or less answered everything. Could you please name the website to get that ICH GCP certificate, the one which you mentioned in your presentation?
So hi Kagla. So it's gcp.nida.org. So you can see nida.org. So there are so many other websites you can find completing your GCP certification. But in nida.org, you can instantly complete your course and you can get certificate. All you just need is around 4 to 5 hours. That's it.
Great. Thank you so much, Kavitha. And just one more question. Would you add a couple of lines about, there are pretty many PhD aspirants who want to get into this field. So would you like to guide them? Because there are so many questions about the PhDs wanting to get into this field that I can't just pick one of them. Can you please highlight on that?
So, as a PhD candidate, you can always apply for clinical research associate or clinical data manager or clinical data analyst roles. But all you have to do is you just have to be knowing the basics of clinical research. So, you can attend the clinical research training courses or clinical research certifications from the websites, and you can get into this field. And you can also complete a GCP certification, and you can just know about the data management and all. So you, by doing all these things, you can directly get into this clinical research and pharmaceutical field.
Thank you for such a practical suggestion. And Mr. Satyaprakash, just one question for you specifically. What are the soft skills that are needed for this job market?
Yeah, so that's a good question, I would say. That's really very important. Whenever you get a chance to give you an interview, make it very clear, crisp, and to the point. Because honestly, when an interviewer take an interview, they don't have enough patience. They just judge the person in just few seconds. So that is needed when you make your suppose somebody will ask you like, tell me something about yourself, make your elevation pitch like already so that you will not be humble at the time of interview. That's number one. Second is once you start doing your job, have your writing skills, your presentation skills key, because once you work, you will not work for just kind of getting the job for your manager. Maybe you will be needed to present to the senior leadership. So senior leadership has a very short attention of time. Till now also even we are learning how to put things in one slide and convince them for budget, for approval, or having a project team. So those are important, how you can make your brain work. And nowadays honestly the AI making our life really very easy, like having a paragraph put in a chat and then say like three bullets for things. But that's something the AI, but try to put your brain how other person will be convinced. So those are the kind of soft skills: good writing skill, good presentation skill. Whenever you speak, don't go round by round, because there are some trainings once you join industry. uh, I mean, we keep on kind of going through that, how you ask questions, dealing with a person. Suppose you become a manager, there is a training how there are five why questions. Then if somebody is asking you, how kind of answer. So my only kind of message here is, be to the point. Whatever has been asked, very short, very crisp, very clear in your message. Yeah.
Wonderful advice for all of the clinical research aspirants and all other graduates and postgraduates, whoever is watching this. And thank you so much. You've been all wonderful speakers, and you've given so much of insight, Mr. Satyaprakash, Ms. Kavitha, and Dr. Snigdha. I really thank you for your time this evening. And thank you all the audience for staying with us till the end. And now is the time for a surprise gift, which we are going to give you for staying with us throughout. You'll all be getting an access to the ebook. So please make sure that you access this ebook for a nice future, and it will give you a great insight. And thank you so much. The link to the ebook will be dropped to you for the ones who are watching, and it's already up on the StreamYard if you're watching it. And thank you so much for this lovely evening. I'll take leave from you today. Thanks a lot. Good day.